Hello, hello, and welcome to the stream. So, we're building a Metroidvania game here, and I'm also building the tools to build the game. I'm building sort of like an editor where you can build up your scene and entities and stuff. So in the programming language Zig, using Raylib and Imgui or Imgui. I'm not sure how to pronounce it, but in the editor. And right now, I'm implementing what I'm gonna call project options. So it's basically you can create a project, and I'm just gonna show you here the we got an issue here. Cannot assign contest. Right. Project options. Let's make it mutable. Okay. Yeah, so project options basically gonna be here. Whoops, yeah, there's a large button. But anyway, it's gonna be like you press this, you open up the options dialog, and you choose whatever options you wanna do. So yeah, that's the idea. And the reason for wanting to do that, I was like last stream I said that I wanted to just start working on building out these maps, but then the problem arose because recently I did, so this is the tile map editor. We can edit the tile map. You can like delete tiles and set tiles and stuff like this, or paint and stuff. But the thing is that you have a tile set input here, which is not set by default, because we don't really know. We have a bunch of textures here. We don't really know which one you want to set as the tile set. So I have this set now, and I guess we could store it as, we should probably store it as like a UI state that we also save in sort of the session or something. But or in, yeah, we it shouldn't be like permanent. It should be stored sort of like in the editor session or something like that. But then my idea was with project options that you would have a default tile set that you would choose there, and so you don't have to, like, every time you want to create a new tile map, because that's going to happen a lot of times. I don't want to have to, well, the idea is that you don't have to do this every time, like search up this thing and set it every time. So you had set the default tile set, and that's going to automatically be set here. So that's the idea. And it was just going to be like, because we probably want to have other options as well for the project. So I would just I'm just gonna implement that real quick and get that working. Another note is, last time, or many streams now, I've been complaining about the LSP not working properly. Well, it does work, but there was a bug, and I wasn't sure when it happened or why it happened. But then I started to, okay, let's just try to fix this problem, because I knew that if I open this file, the context file, I knew that once I opened this, the LSP crashed. You can see that it doesn't crash now because there was a like message down at the bottom that said it crashed, but now it doesn't crash. We have full LSP here. We can go to standard library. We can jump around as the so the LSP works. And the reason and what I did to find out here was that I changed this file. So now it's like it went from I don't know how many lines down to 119, which is very small for this large thing. We have this context basically has all the state that you need for this editor, for the whole program basically. So it has basically everything, documents, open editors, yeah, everything is in the context here, and that gets passed around everywhere basically. And the thing that I did was that I had a whole bunch of different functions that I now have divided up into these files here. So this is how you could you can separate, it's not perfect, but you can separate a big sort of struct into smaller parts by doing this. So pub using namespace is basically you take the thing that you put here, in this case it's an import, but it's basically gonna be a type, a struct type, or well, yes, I think yeah, a struct type. And the thing that you have here is basically just a file, but all files in SIG are actually structs. So all of this is defined as, like the top level here is a struct, and when you define a function like this, you define a function on the struct itself. So this public function here, for example, you can access through that. So this function is public, and when you use namespace here, using namespace, I'm not sure if it's only the public functions or anything, but all functions in this session.zig file will now also be sort of put here. It's almost like copy pasting everything in the file down into here, almost. I'm not sure, I don't think it works for fields, but it does work for declarations like functions or pub const declarations. So that's how I made this, and then I realized that okay, once I've done this, then this file didn't actually crash anymore. So then I looked for okay, which part of context was crashing, and then I found it in one of these. I don't remember exactly which one it was now. I think maybe document or new asset. It was something. It was basically, I can show you what the issue is because I did file a GitHub report. So I can show you, because if you for some reason get the same error that I did, I have the solution for you here. So let me just, because I did report it as an issue in the ZLS, like the SIG LSP what is it, repo, GitHub repo here. So I'm gonna show you here. So this is the code that does it. So this part here, the switch, you have a switch, and then you have like this error statement. I think that you have to sort of have it in this sort of constellation as well. I'm not exactly sure exactly when the problem appears. I did report it, and it was fixed in the next version. So, but this was the thing that caused it. Like having a switch like this caused an error. So if you ever get that error and you don't know what the hell is going on, then you can try and see if you have something like this. It's because of you have this error definition here. You have to like use the original error or do it in some other way. So the way I changed it was well, now I have to find it, like not found. Yeah, I think this one. Yeah, so here I think this is the part. So this is how I do it now instead of the other way. So, and that seems to work. So but that caused the crash. That was like so annoying. Every time you went into context, or anytime you had a dependency on the type that from the file that the LSP was crashing from, you got like rubbish types and stuff, so you couldn't really do anything. But now the LSP works flawlessly for everything here in the project, so that's really nice. Really really nice to get that working again. So yeah, so I did a whole bunch of basically like reorganizing and stuff. Right, so back to the task at hand here. Now, project options UI. So here's like a blank slate for the project options. This is where, if this bool is true, then that means you have pressed the button and you want to open the project options. So, what's going to happen in here? Well, we need a window. So let's start there. So project options. And yeah, we need a way to close it. So that's how you do. So you do it like this. Let's set this to false. So now this is a bool. Well, actually this should be true to start with. And actually, you know what? We can just set it, because this is a pointer, I think. Yeah. So we just set it to project is project. So it can just set that itself. Actually, then we don't even need the if here. Yeah. So let's defer the end. And right, so now let's just see if this works first. Okay, and now when the LSP is working, I don't need to go into the output of the compiler anymore. I can just check the diagnostics in NeoVim directly, so that works out very well. Bool ignored. Okay. Oh yeah. That returns a bool for some reason. There we go. No more errors. Let's run. I have to really like rewire my brain a little bit, because I've been dealing with the LSP crashing for so long, so I have to like make it work here. Okay, here we go. We're in the tile map, yes, and here's the project options. We open that. That should open a window. So here's the window. Now we want to set like a default size for it. So I'm just gonna set default project options window size. I don't like this name, but let's just do this. Let's just set it here or whatever. We're not gonna have anything depending on it anyway. So set next window size. So let's just set this to I don't know, 800, 600 or something. Condition should be like first use ever, and then you can sort of change it yourself. All right, let's try this now. So I'm not sure if it's actually gonna work now, because I've already opened it once. So actually, I wonder if you can reset that state somehow. We do have like ingui.ini here. So project options, size. What if we just remove that? Start the thing. Oh, it's open. Why is like always visible? Do I have to have it in the if? Okay. I thought that popen would maybe take care of that. I don't know. Maybe it's like in the flags. I don't know. Okay, anyway, let's put it. If project is open. And we'll put this in here as well. There we go. But it seems to work anyway. The first use everything. So now we open it, we can sort of resize it however we want. Next time it's gonna stay that way. Okay, cool. Next up is Next version. So next up would be yeah, just filling it out with whatever is going to be inside. So I mean, we only have like one option, which is an asset input. So this is just going to be let's do it text, and well, the text is just going to be default tile set. And then we do, let's do same line, spacings 8, and then utils. Wait. There we go. Utils, and then we have an asset input. The type is a texture. The context we should pass there, and then we have current ID. So the current ID should be project options default tile set. That's the current ID. And the way you get this out is you have an if, because it returns a nullable or an optional, and you get an ID out. That's the new ID. So then you just set this to the new ID. Okay, and we need to add the context. There we go. No errors. Let's see if it runs. Okay, right. So here's our default. Here's our input. And we can set it to something here. No, not as textures. We set it to that. Now it's set. We close that. It's still. So if we now save, I've also done the persistence to file system. So this should load up. Nope. Okay. Alright, so something, so let's check the logs. Could not open project JSON. Okay. So where is it saving it? Do we have project JSON in here? We should really clean stuff up here. Project JSON. No? Alright, so maybe we're not saving the options anywhere. Let's see, we should have, here's the save options function. Let's check if we get more logs. Could not open that, could not load, could not save. Oh, final file. Oh, I see. So this one has to be like mode should be, I guess, write only, because we only want to write to it. And that will overwrite whatever was there before, I think. Well, we'll test it and see. Okay, we set that. Let's exit. So on exit, it will actually save it. No? Okay. Let's see. Not save. Still find not found. That's strange. Without opens a file for reading or writing without attempting to create a new file. Okay, so do we have to use like create file? Okay. So what's the signature here? Okay, so we still have like path and flags. So what's the flags here? Mode is what? Inclusive lock read false truncate true. Okay, okay. I don't think we need to modify anything there. Let's do that. Okay. Let's try this again. And exit. Alright, there we go. Now it's set there. I should probably, whenever I get to upgrading the asset inputs to be able to clear them, I'm gonna do that. So then you would be able to clear this with like an X button or something, I don't know. But okay, now we have that, so great. Alright, so we have the options and we can change it. Now we just have to use it. So let's go to layout for tile map. We should have our brush tool somewhere. Yeah, here we go. Here's a little placeholder I added for this specific thing. So yeah, now if the brush tile set is null, that means it should be, well, if it can, it should be set to something. So let's get our default tile set ID, and that would be the context. I'm just gonna assume that there is a project and we have options and then default tile set. So if we have this, then we want to use it. Otherwise, we want to basically break out of this thing. Can we? Is that possible to have a continue? I want to break out of the if, but. I guess you maybe could do this, maybe no. Maybe you have to do it there. Okay, that seems to work, but it's not, I don't like the syntax really here, but yeah. I guess it's fine. So we grab the tile set. Actually, one thing that we could do, we could break it down into a function. That will be a lot nicer. So it's like anytime you're doing any kind of label shenanigans, I always go to that thought, okay, can we break it down into a function instead? And usually that's a lot better. But I mean, it does have its places, but it's just like a pattern that I've noticed. It's like, yeah, we probably want to do this in its own function. So it's like initialize brush tile set, something like this. It's weird that we call it on every frame, but hey. We'll start somewhere. Initialize brush tile set. Alright, we need the brush. Let's just copy this whole thing. We don't need you, I don't think. Okay, so if it's null, we grab the, and now we can say or else return instead. I guess we can say project. So now we don't crash if for some reason this would not exist. All right. Now, yeah, so now we just, I think we just set this, yeah, we just set this to default times the ID. I mean, we can just do it like this. That was a lot easier than I was expecting. But that's also, it's really nice to work with these UIDs because you just set it and it's just a, you know, it's very copyable. It's like a U128, so you just set it and then let the UI sort of work itself out from that. context and brush. Yeah, I'm good about that. It's nice that they did. Well, okay, these are warnings, but if I remove them, then that's gonna be like errors because you have unused stuff. Right, options, we have that. Okay, so now I select brush and you can see now it's set automatically. So really, really, really good. And so let's say I want to create a new tile map, and it's gonna be like where is this gonna be? I'm not sure how to name these places. Got tree entrance, and then I guess tree. Tree. I mean, I guess upgrade room or forest tree upgrade room. Yeah. And now let's determine the size, so it would be almost the same size. So that's 71. So let's do like, I don't know, 65. And what was the height? 35. So I guess we can have the same height. So I have no idea how this room will look, but now we can do that. We can set the tile to something very easily. We don't have to look up the tile set from the textures like this and drag it in there. It's gonna be set automatically. So very, very nice. I'm just gonna do this and I'll do the entrance down here. I forgot how big it was. It's nice to see how you switch these around now. So it's like 3 wide. So it's like over here somewhere. And save that. Oh no. I forgot also I need to fix this squash history thing. Like when you save, it should automatically squash the history for you. Let's actually do that right now. I didn't change anything else, I don't think. Also, I want to check the memory leaks or anything. No memory leaks. Awesome. So let's see. Whenever we save time app, yeah. There's a few places. We have shortcuts. We have. Oh yeah, we're calling the same function. Yeah. So here's the save function. So what we want to do is we want to squash history. So where does that happen? Time app document. All right. There we go. So we're automatically squashing the history now. Okay, let's see. Now we'll add a to-do here. Remove when history is more optimized. Okay. So now it shouldn't take like a million years every time you want to save the time maps. All right. So let's do some stuff here. I don't know really what we want to have in here, but I'm just gonna make a whole bunch of history and then save, and you see we squash the history, it's gonna save it almost immediately. Okay, cool. Let's now create a scene, or do we all? No, we don't have a scene, so let's create a scene. Whoops. Which should be forest tree upgrade room. We should almost maybe have like a convenience function. Create a scene from this or something. I don't know. But then again, the organization will be a bit different. But maybe if you have a tile map open, it will like automatically suggest that name for you or something like that. That would be kind of interesting. But now we need to, so what we can do is we can go, this would also be nice if you can like, actually, no, well, if you could like right click, say focus, go to the, as in asset manager, go to this file, so then it would go automatically over here, and then you can grab it, drag it in there or something like that. It's this one. There we go. And let's add a start position. And press F5 to play. There we go. Now we have our new map here. See if the sound works. I think something is wrong with my earphones or whatever it's called. I'm just gonna remove them here. Alright, so wow, it sounds, my voice sounds very weird when I took that off. 1 second here. Right, so now we can add the entrance and exits. This is an no, this is an exit, yeah. So let's put it down there, put it there, and it's gonna be 3 times there. It's gonna be vertical. And the target scene is going to be this. And this is gonna be up or top, or actually top is a better name, I think. Well, better. It's more, I would guess, conventional. Let's put the entrance somewhere, I guess somewhere here or something. Okay. And then this is the down or bottom entrance. All right. Yeah, so now I need to create these. It's gonna be the same thing here, vertical. This is the bottom of, where is it? Oh, I don't have a thumbnail for it yet. Let's see. And then this would be the entrance, so let's put that there. And this is the top entrance. Okay. We'll save this scene. Oh, there. Okay, so the shortcut doesn't create a thumbnail. That's interesting. Okay, so let's try running this now. It looks a bit. Maybe I should put it further down or something. And the entrance should be further down as well. Maybe even something like this. I mean, it's not really that important right now. I guess also, like when we go from the other place, this should be further up, and this could be further up as well. And oh, now I have to. Okay, so that's connected now. Last time I did miss a couple of places here, so actually this could actually be a nice transition into the next room here. Well, I need to open the time up for this one instead. And so we'll open up here, and I'm not sure how to actually do this. This is where sort of the camera stuff comes in actually. When you have a layout like this, you don't really, like here you want to lock the camera to this region here. And the player, once the player comes over here, you want to sort of unlock the verticalness of the camera and jump up here. So that's kind of a different mode. And I've been the camera stuff I tried to implement some time ago in this project, in the devlog. I tried to implement a camera system that the camera worked by when you jumped, it moved the camera up to that position where you were jumping to. So you land on this platform. If it was long, like farther away, far enough from where you started. So let's say you start down here, the camera boundary is like here, and then you jump up here. Maybe the camera doesn't change here because you only jumped up like 3 tiles. But once you jump up even more, then it like triggers, oh, now you need to move the camera. So, like vertically. So, the verticalness of the camera was very tricky to get. It was very tricky to get like a nice camera working. So, but I did manage to do some research and find a solution. Well, in theory at least. So I want to try a different approach to the camera, where you have to define like boundaries in your maps, or if it can somehow analyze the map and automatically define the boundaries for you. But the idea is that there should be a boundary here for this corridor, for example, and the camera will sort of stay in that boundary. This part is basically only for vertical. However, unless you get over here to the edge, then the camera shouldn't go past the edge. It should stay inside the boundary here. However, at this point there's like a transition, so when you cross over here, it's gonna transition into this boundary over here. So there's like a transition happening, and the camera changes to be able to move vertically here, and then it just follows you up vertically. However, it's also bound horizontally in these parts. Even though the tile map is like defined, all of this could potentially be part of the tile map, but I want this to be a region where the camera sort of stays. And let's say it's also good because of, let's say you have a secret, let's say this part is like a secret over here. You don't want the camera to go past this point to reveal that there's more stuff over there. You want well, maybe you do, but in some cases maybe you don't want to reveal that. So how do you do that? Because the map continues over here, so you have a boundary here, and that will prevent the camera from moving in there until you maybe do something new that will remove the boundary. So let's say we have a thing that enables us to crush this wall, and then you open up and you see a whole new place, and that will now disable sort of this boundary here and reveal a new place here. So I'm not exactly sure how that whole thing will work. Like I'm pretty sure that's sort of in theory how I want it to work, but yeah, I'm still working out. I still have to work out like how it should work in the actual like algorithm and stuff. So because it's like, yeah, it's easy to just say, yeah, we'll define a boundary here. Okay, but how does the boundary look like? Where does the boundary? How do we know, like, where the camera is now? Which boundary should the camera be affected by, basically? Yeah, how exactly will that work? Like, because let's say you're in this boundary, let's say you're in this region here, and this region is determined by this boundary, so it doesn't know about this part. What if you go over here? Now the camera is still in this region, so it's not in this region. So how do we know that we have to apply these rules as well as these rules? So it's like, is that impossible, or do we have to have like a smarter sort of solution? So it's not trivial, you know. It's not like, well, it might be, you know, the solution might be there and might be super simple, but as I see it now, I can't really see a very simple solution to this problem. Maybe there's like a dependency hierarchy, I don't know, something that makes it work. But yeah, that it's the camera is like one of the, is like something that you don't even think of when you play games. You don't really think about the camera too much unless it annoys you. If it's a really good camera, you don't really think about it unless you're like very curious about it. But yeah, it's one of those things that you kind of take for granted, and it's one like thing that you can do in many different ways, and people have experimented in many different ways. And yeah, so anyway, yeah, that was thinking of, I thought of that now because obviously I don't have camera boundaries now, and if you jump up here now and go up here, then the camera is gonna go like, it's gonna go, the boundary is gonna be like this, and I really want the boundary to like end here. But anyway, I was just thinking about that because we reached that point here. So this part, I'm not sure because I want to be able to move past here. So I think I'll do something like this, and we'll just, and we open up here as well. Now let's go back to this scene. No, not that scene. We can close that off. And that, we can go back here. Here's the scene. Yeah, so also this is probably not really a good idea. Let's put him over here. Okay, so here we need, this is going to be the exit. So we could put the exit a little bit like this. Whoops. Maybe like something like that. And the entrance key is going to be right. Okay, and now we have the entrance. It's gonna be, oh, so this is normally the left one. So what is this one? It's like middle left or up left, top left. Yeah. Okay. And now we have you. You are top right. And you are entrance left. Alright. So now we have to make those rooms as well. Let's see. I'm gonna look at my map here. So the right one is a big room that goes. Okay. Start with the time map. Forest tree. So this is gonna be the right branch, basically. I could call it right branch or branch right. size is sort of, well, let's do like 45 maybe, and this, I don't know, maybe that's a bit much. I don't know, it doesn't really matter because this is still like, oh shit, that's a lot. Maybe 35 is good. I painted it something like this. Maybe something like that. I don't know. So that's sort of the branch, but it's closed off because of the I'll just mark this as this is like outside. Okay. Can I see this here? It almost looks like AB, but it's supposed to be RB. I just want to see it here so I can easily identify it. Okay, anyway, so let's create a scene for this. Forest tree branch, right. Oh, I see that the input actually changed here. You have to be careful about that. There it is. Alright, so we'll have an entrance here. And this is the left entrance. And then an exit. Into this top right. Top right, yeah. Alright. We can also add. Wait. Where's the. Oh, alright. I didn't set the scene, the target scene here. There we go. Let's add a starting position. Oh, it crashed. Interesting. Forest tree entrance, top right. Top right. Okay, let's check the logs. Oops. Error parsing JSON. Interesting. What? Unexpected token? Is it these things? The weird sort of... But I haven't had a problem with that before. Oh. Is it this? No? scene ID. Oh. Oh, okay. So I think it's because this is not set yet. Well, I guess it's good that it crashed. We have to fix it first. So let's just create the new scene for that, I guess. The left branch. Let's check the map. It's just gonna be like a corridor here. So I guess this size makes sense. Sort of. I'm just gonna do this. And set this is gonna be left. And let's create a scene. Left. Okay. Start. This is the right entrance. This goes to the top left of this part, the trunk. Okay, okay, now we should be able to test this. Oh, actually no, because we need to also set this to this. There we go. Now we should be able to play this. Or not. Is it too far? Okay. Yeah, you can see here, like, I don't like the camera. It's gonna be like, it's gonna cut off here, or it's gonna be like centered around this column here. So that's how I want it to be. So it's not gonna extend all the way over here. Okay. This is the left entrance. Actually, let's make you 3 on the start. All right, so I think, yeah, I think I'm gonna call it there. I think I'm gonna make these things off stream, and I want to stream when I have like more like programming stuff to show. So, but yeah, we just gonna check for like errors and leaks and stuff. Yeah. So yeah, you didn't see the whole process of adding that stuff, but basically now we have project options, and so we have this thing called project. What I did was I added these things, so this is just like in memory now, this field here, but then it's also when the program, when you set a new project, we're loading the options now as well as the index here. That was from before, but now we added, so we load the options here. So when we load the project, we added load options as well. And then we also save the options when basically when we save projects also new, which is just called from main. This is the intention of this function is kind of weird. It's like a cleanup, but it's like it does everything that needs to be done at the end of the program. But really, the project should probably be saved every now and then. So if it crashes, you still keep like the progress and stuff. Or it's like whenever something changes in the options, we should automatically save it directly instead of just like we do with the index. Right now it's not saved to the file system until we exit the program, but I mean, I guess it's the same with this session here, but so it's like if it crashes and you're gonna load it up again, then you're not gonna recognize where you left off, but so that was that. So we have this options thing. I didn't show this, but we have project options. This is the only thing that exists here now, the default tile set. So we can add more things there in the future. We have the load function, which basically just loads the options file path, which is just the project root there, and then project JSON is stored in there. Actually, does that show up as a file here? I'm not sure if it does actually, because it should. No, so it's not showing up as a file. I thought that it might be because we're sort of reading all the files and putting in them here, but maybe because it's not matching anything, it's not there. I forgot exactly how it worked, but anyway, so we create the file path here with stud fs path join with the project root and a relative path. Then we free it at the end, and we open up the file with open file absolute, and we close the file at the end. I've created this buffer, so I'm gonna assume that we don't really gonna have like a whole bunch of data in there, so I just created this local buffer here and read it into that, and I put up a little bit of warning here if we actually reach the end. However, if we do reach the end, there's like more than 1 kilobyte here, then this is gonna fail because it's not gonna be like a fully formed JSON data that we read in, so this is gonna crash, and so we're gonna notice that either way. So this would basically only be helpful if the file is exactly 1 kilobyte. but anyway. So, and then we have the same, or the save function, which basically the same thing except we save again. Instead, we build the file path. We use create file now instead, as we did before there. And then when you create a writer, I feel like this is one of the easiest ways to write JSON into a file. It's like you open up the file in whatever way you can, and then you create a writer from the file, which the file just has like a writer function that you can call. So you get this writer, and this writer is like a very generic thing that you can pass into. You can do like writer.write, and you can stream data into the thing, into the file. But you can also use JSON stringify, and you stringify any value. In this case itself here, project options, and here's options. You can pass in like a whole bunch of options if you want to change how it does things. And then just pass in the writer, and then it's gonna write into that writer, and this just happens to be a file, so it's gonna write into that file. So this is actually a really nice pattern, so kind of like an interface that you put in. The writer could write to anything, like it could write to a buffer, it could write to a file or network or whatever, anything really. Okay, so then we do that, and we're done there. Okay, and yeah, so that's basically it. And then we did the layout stuff, but you already saw that, so yeah, that's basically what it is. Short but sweet, I guess. Anyway, so yeah, that's gonna be it for this time. So I'm gonna build up the tile maps more like off stream, and yeah, we'll see what happens. I want to do some more, like, as I've said many times now, like creative work, and start like making more graphics, more content basically for the game, and start like just doing the first area in a sort of very first alpha version iteration way. So yeah, that's gonna be it